Kevin O'Leary's crazy profitable crypto strategy apparently is not so crazy. As a matter of fact, I don't find it very good at all. So Kevin O'Leary's going on about how we are in a really strange place in crypto, and he's going to tell you how to be super profitable. Yeah. So we're going to go through this video and we're going to see what he has to say on this and some of the other topics in the crypto space that he thinks is going on. And as you know from my previous videos, I don't tend to agree with Mr. Wonderful because I don't believe that regulation is so wonderful like he does. And his positions and his decisions are all predicated on making sure those big regulators get their hands in your crypto. That's what it's all about. So let's get into the video and let's see what Mr. Wonderful thinks is a crazy profitable strategy for your crypto.
I'm doing what a lot of other traders are doing. I'm going into the November time period with over 34 different positions on, many of them underwater.
34.
So naturally what I'm going to do now that the IRS and other regulators around the world are now looking at crypto in terms of tax compensation, very much like a security, I'm going to have to trade. So I'm going to be doing trading, taking some of the projects that have been decimated down 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, selling those and basically buying what I consider the granddaddy index of all crypto, Bitcoin. So
what?
I can go through the tax
hold it right there.
owning more.
What did he just say? He just said, First, he starts by justifying the idea of like, well, we'll be able to offset our taxes just like a security. And we're going to take our whole portfolio of all our cryptos, 34 of them, by the way, and some are at a 40, 50, 60, 90% loss, and we're going to sell them all and buy Bitcoin. What are you doing? Literally buying at the top and selling at the low. This is just exactly like Trader 101 of what not to do, and Mr. Wonderful's doing it. I don't get it. I don't understand. And of course, he's trying to say, oh, well, this is good because we can then be able to offset our taxes with these terrible losses. Really? Really? Do you really think that that's what matters? Do you think that the people in your company who you're supposed to represent with their shareholders and your investment firm or whatever you're running are really going to be happy with that? I don't think so. Yeah. And putting it all in Bitcoin, that's really interesting because I thought it was all about diversification. I remember your previous videos, Mr. Wonderful, where you were tooting and looting about all the wonders of like how great this space is and you can diversify and you should put it into all these big brands that you like to talk about that are in the top 10 that anybody can see. Yeah. So where's that diversification now? Why are you selling at the Why are you selling at the bottoms? Why would you do that? Like, this is the problem with people who are in the crypto space that are all predicated around these old methods, these old financial like ways of thinking. And the idea, and he says right there that like securities. So he's treating it like securities, I guess in the hopes that it's going to get regulated like securities. And then of course, he's got his whole company all set up with all the registered forms and all the money in place to be able to do that, to be able to make it so that he becomes the gatekeeper to be able to even access the crypto space when all this regulation comes into play. That's what he's really hoping for. But his portfolio is getting decimated because he's treating it like traditional stocks, which crypto is not. It is not. And you shouldn't be in this space if that's what you think it is, Mr. Wonderful. Okay. Let's continue while I try to get my blood pressure down. Here we go.
Maybe a little bit more Ethereum, but basically the large market cap names are the ones that matter. So if you're going to do a basket of names to hold through the back end of the year, I would say it's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Solana. Those are huge market cap names, and I think are going to index together. I don't think any one of those breaks out of the pack. They all kind of trade in tandem. So if you're only going to own one, it's probably going to be Bitcoin, but all the rest trade in tandem with Bitcoin.
Hold it right there. So So he starts to talk about if you're going to trade, make sure you use the ones that have the large market caps. And they're going to trade all the same as Bitcoin pretty much, so you might as well just own Bitcoin. They're never going to break out into something different. Really? So, if you've been in the space long enough, you'd know about the flippening. Have you heard about that? The flippening of Ethereum to Bitcoin. What if that happens? What if, Mr. Wonderful, you moved into Bitcoin, then the flippening happens? Oh, you're going to be freaking out. And then you're going to be talking about how you had to be diversified and how you should have been in Polygon or Solana and all these names that you rhymed off that are just in the top 10 with the most market cap and whatnot. And yeah, you're right. They do trace with Bitcoin. Do you know why? Do you know why that is? Because Bitcoin is, by its very nature, the hardest asset in, according to Michael Saylor, the universe. Yeah, we're going to have to prove that one to the aliens when they come here. So that is what's going on. That's why they trade against Bitcoin, because it is a harder asset than all these other projects, which have nothing to do with the tokenomics of actually price go up in the way that they're designed. They're actually predicated on other fundamentals, which I don't think you understand with the way that crypto works. So yeah, that's so the lesson here is, folks, trade big market caps, because there's why would you trade the big market caps anyway? If they're big market caps, that means that whatever real upside that you have as an opportunity is gone. You're supposed to start at the projects that are like still small with lots of upside. That's where the big money is. That's where these crypto millionaires have been made, right? They bought when nobody believed in it. They bought when it was like $1 million market cap or a couple of $1 million. And they started there. And then when it got to $1 billion market cap, guess what? They were Lambo. They were whatever you want to call it, right? They were basically swimming in it because they started early. They did the risk in the beginning and they reaped the rewards. That's the way nature works, right? Somebody who does the work, puts it in, takes the risk, does all that, then gets all the rewards. Not big market cap, throw a ton of money at it, make price go up, sell it when it goes up a little bit. These guys, I don't get it. I don't understand how this is investment. This is a crazy profitable crypto strategy. I don't see the crazy profitability in that at all. At all. I don't get it. It's almost like he's talking about, it's almost like he titled it, it's supposed to be crazy profitable, but he's just not saying it. I don't know. Something's wrong with Mr. Wonderful. He's broken. I don't know. It's, beep or beep, can't compute. I've lost money. I don't know what's happening. That's how I feel right now. Let's see if he can redeem himself. Let's keep going.
There was a huge change in the direction of capital going into crypto in the last 6 months. So what's changed now is most of the investors that are willing to take the highly speculative investments, and some of them are large, a new deal called Mysten, M-Y-S-T-E-N, just got funded. Evan Chung was the name of the fellow who left Facebook. Yeah. He was doing their digital currency. He took the whole team, set up a new company, raised $300 million in 45 minutes, basically without a deck. What? FTX was the lead investor at $100 million. I put money into that deal.
We put money into that too.
A new blockchain to service financial transactions at 10 times the speed of anything else out there. And we do need that. So there's a lot of interest. But there's an example of a have company that really has no revenue. It's just starting its journey with now $300 million. It was almost 6x oversubscribed. The rest of the crypto market that came out of the DeFi space has...
So look what he just did there. So of course he's talking about this company that he invested in so that everybody knows about it and hopefully gets behind it. $300 million to start another layer one when there's literally hundreds, if not thousands of them already out there. Now he claims is like, oh, this new one, it's going to be able to do like 10,000x more than what the current ones can do. First off, if it can do that, there's something called the trilemma. Have you heard of this term before? The trilemma in crypto is about the fact that you can't have decentralization, security, and speed all at the same time. It's the trilemma, right? You're going to sacrifice something in order to be able to satisfy the other. So the reason why Solana, for example, is so much faster than Bitcoin is because it's highly centralized. Everybody knows this. It's not unusual. Now, for Mr. Wonderful, who's Mr. Regulator, he doesn't care, right? He's like, oh, we'll do this deal of a layer one that's going to be faster. And of course, It's all about the story. And apparently the guy did it without a deck even. So it really is about who he knows. Putting it into the deal so that they could be able to market it up. It's going to come out. It's not going to be decentralized at all. I'm telling you right now, it's probably going to be completely in the hands of the regulators, right? And then, of course, it's going to do 10,000x. You can do 10,000x with BitShares or PeerPlays right now. You could do that. You know how you do it? You spin up a node, you run it on a single node, which you control with no decentralization. It can do over 100,000 transactions per second, right? That's way faster than even Solana, right? So if you have that kind of centralization, you can get the speed, but you don't get the security. You don't get the decentralization, right? If you don't solve the trilemma, you break it, and then you're in trouble, because now you don't have all the other elements that actually give value to blockchain, right? What value is this thing going to have when it's all controlled by the regulators? You have a copy of the existing financial system at that point, which we all know how that's gone so far, right? We're just going to get more printer go burr, you know? And of course, where's the burr money going to go? In these guys' wallets. So why would you do that? Why would you even support that? You know what? He doesn't care. He thinks that this, he's playing on that field. This is the way it works in his world, right? It's not for you. I know you want to, be rich like Mr. Wonderful and all that kind of stuff, but the advice he's giving or the things he's talking about are so that you put money in him, not so that you are able to make money for yourself. That's what I see. Anyways, bottom line, this new, first, $300 million for a layer 1, that's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Where is that going to go? Like, that's like the $42 million ArriveCan app that Canada did. Like, who does that, right? Like, everyone knows the ArriveCan app was like a $500,000 app at best. Like, that could have been done by some guy in his basement. 42 million was spent, right? Here they place 300 million for what is likely, in as far as I'm concerned, it's probably just going to be literally a duplicate, a copy of Ethereum, like every other project, and they're going to run it on centralized nodes that are probably going to have a little more beefy hardware to be able to get that 10x transaction. Of course, it's all private, so you're right back to no trilemma. The trilemma is still there, right? Yeah, what a waste of money. This is what the traditional financial system does. They back deals like this. They get into this because they want to be able to have a story so they can be able to make more money. They're going to try to, hype it up. And then when it hits the market, when it's going to get publicly traded, price go up, everybody sells, price goes down, and everybody who's early gets the rewards. That's how it works. In this case, he's setting it up so he can be able to get the rewards because he got in early. But his previous advice of buy the big market caps, that's ridiculous because, any opportunity for price go up have gone away already. Why would you do that, right? So it's almost like hold on a second here. He's giving you advice that sabotages your crypto, but giving advice that if you invest in a traditional deal that he's in, then you could possibly be able to get in or reap reward or some kind because it's early. Though the idea of a layer 1 for, that they're talking about, it's a bad idea. There's been so much work done in it already. There's no reason to put that kind of money into a layer 1. The odds of that much money being able to produce anything that's actually going to bring back like investor funds to a degree that's going to be good. Like, when you have more money like that into a deal, then there's more money that has to be made in order to have returns. How they're going to do that, I don't know. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be one of those bad news stories in time. That's my feeling anyway. Anyways, let's keep going. It's not looking good so far.
Has been obliterated. And financings there are being done in crammed down rounds, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% less than the last round. Very, very difficult. If the company's not profitable, there's not a lot of investor appetite for it. So you have the haves and the have-nots. In addition to that, the whole Web3 movement, which was what that whole conference was about, is more towards mass adoption. Everybody that's investing money into that is trying to solve for the wallet, number 1. Number 2, security. And number 3, regulation. Those are the 3 horsemen of the new Web3 movement. Mass adoption through regulation, through security, and a much easier to use wallet. The best analogy I can give you, until your grandmother can figure out how to buy Bitcoin on her cell phone, we don't have a wallet that works yet. It has to pass the grandmother test.
Stop
An
right there.
unusual situation going on.
So it's the wallet, it's security, and it's regulation. Yeah, no. And he calls it, of all things, the three horsemen. Okay? That was like a slip, a Freudian slip on his part, I think. He called it the three horsemen of crypto. What does that refer to? That refers to the apocalypse that is written in Revelations of the Bible, right? Which is the four horsemen. But he calls this the three horsemen. And what are those horsemen supposed to be bringing? The apocalypse. So he's literally said, these are the three apocalyptic horsemen of the crypto space. One, we need a wallet. Two, we're going to put security in and we're going to bring regulators in, and that will be the three horsemen that will destroy. Oh my gosh, Mr. Wonderful, you're great. This is great. This is great stuff. So here's the thing. So he talks about there that everybody, now there's some of what I agree with there. Number one, an easy to use wallet. Absolutely. Absolutely, we need better wallets. I 100% agree with that. That is true. And he talking about from the conference how that's what everybody was talking about. They all want to invest in that. They want to be able to do mass adoption. You know what? I've been in the space for a really long time, and I got into it actually. And the project with PeerPlays was all about mass adoption. We believed that it was through gaming we could gain mass adoption. But there are so many other issues within the space and within the technology that it made it really hard to do that. And so they're saying it's the wallet. It's the wallet where the issue is. And you know what? That's actually right where we are. That's actually we are developing that. And we've come up with some really novel ways in order to be able to create mass adoption in PeerPlays. Thank you very much. But I don't think the way Mr. Wonderful is going to do it is going to work, because we're right back to what? It's going to be wallets that are going to KYC you the moment you download them, right? Is it going to make you scan your passport as soon as you install it? Is it going to be like, probably going to take your license and scan it, and then where does it go from there? Of course, it's going to go to whoever the regulators are, right? Security. How are you going to do security? What's the novelty there? Because security so far hasn't been great. The problem that crypto space has right now, just so you know, is that most of the people in the space come from Web 2.0, right? Read and write. And they design things in such a way that it's self-hosted, that it's a platform and these types of things. And they take into the design this concept of a third party that is in there with your wallet. And they design around that. And that's what causes a lot of the problems that we see with many of the tools that are out there today. That has to go away. You have to think in a peer-to-peer fashion. And you can't do that, Mr. Wonderful, when you're thinking about peer to regulator to the other peer, and be able to make sure that we AML and KYC every one of those little guys so that we can control what they do, right? That isn't what this is about. It's about a peer-to-peer transaction that two grown adults can make a decision about making, right? Why do they need a person to interfere with that transaction? Every regulating body that's on crypto right now is all about making sure there's an intermediary between those transactions so they can control it. And that is not what this is going. This is not going to change the world. This is a replica of the current financial system, which is not going to help you in the end. It isn't going to help anybody, except, of course, the 1% who are like Mr. Wonderful, who love the regulating bodies that continue to control the masses, right? Yeah, the three horsemen. He said it right. It's the three horsemen, regulators, wallets. And hey, if they end up creating something, a wallet that's secure with regulation that actually is for mass adoption, that gets tons of money, that pushes out there and people actually start using it, that could be a problem as far as real crypto freedom is concerned. If people actually use it. Now here's the problem. It has to be such that it is a choice. And the way things are looking and the things that they're talking about, they're making it more and more look like you're not going to have a choice. You got to use this application. And that sounds crazy, but guess what? We did it here in Canada. Anybody ever had to deal with the ArriveCan app? Man, you try to cross the border without downloading that app, they find you $6,250 for not installing an app. Think about that. A government of Canada, what's supposedly supposed to be a democracy, was fining people at the border for not installing an application. It was only supposed to report like what you're crossing for. what, like the declaration of whatever you're claiming and so forth. Like, oh, I bought a pack of juicy fruits, right? And for not installing that app, $6,250 was fined to you. You think that wasn't a trial for this, for possibly some kind of infrastructure that would come around with wallets, security, and regulation? I think so. And frankly, I think it's disgusting. I think that if it's going to be, if it was a choice, if it was like, let it be something which is just in the marketplace like everything else, let it be just another wallet. And if people choose to use it, they can use it. And by the way, whatever it is that you're transacting with, it better be compatible with whatever kind of wallet that I can make or any other developer can make, and not some heebie-jeebie that's behind some walled-off regulator garden that only they see. That's the old system, which we all know we can't trust anymore. We can't. And that's what it all comes down to. People either trust the system or they don't. And the numbers are growing every day of people who just don't trust it anymore because of this kind of shenanigans that they've seen. And it's become so obvious, right? Anyways, props to Mr. Wonderful for calling it like it is. The three horsemen of the crypto of Web 3.0, according to him. Kudos. I think that is correct in that sense. But when it comes to wallets, when it comes to security, they absolutely are important. And I believe that the open space that is working on that are going to give you the solutions that you need. So support that. Support the things that are going to increase your autonomy and protect your freedom. By doing that, you're more likely to be able to actually gain more prosperity in your life for your family and for your loved ones. Right? Okay. Okay, Mr. Wonderful, you're halfway through this so far, and you've so far given opposite of good advice and have called for the apocalypse of crypto. Let's see where we go from here.
Really unusual situation going on here, given how much the market is corrected, anticipating slowdown in earnings and a recession and a Fed gone wild with another 75 and potentially another
Fed
75
gone wild.
after that.
I like
None
that.
of these rate hikes have affected the consumer yet, and I speculate it's for one singular reason. No economy has ever printed $6.72 trillion
It's true.
in 30 months. That's basically turning on the printing presses, printing money, giving it away for free, dreaming up other reasons to give more money away for free, such as student loan forgiveness. And then the Anti-Inflation Act, that's just hilarious to call it that.
I agree.
It's very inflationary. And so at some point, we'll have to stop printing money, but it hasn't happened yet. All-time record deficit. Consumers flush with cash, and these earnings are proving it out this week. If we're going to get a slowdown in earnings, it's probably going to be in Q1 or 2 next year, because it doesn't look like it's going to make it this quarter. And as a result, we've got a really perplexing, difficult time for investors.
Hold it right there.
Well,
so Mr. Wonderful tops it off by talking about how the inflation is crazy. He's expecting that they're going to stop the money printer. I'm telling you right now, they're not. They're not. They're not going to stop it. They just can't. They are hooked on it. The entire system relies on it. Okay? It's like they're on crack, and they cannot stop going to it. It's on it's literally on the verge of collapse, and they have to keep on printing in order to keep it going. He's hoping they're going to stop it. It's just not going to happen. He's talking about Q1, Q2. It's going to be a little different than now. I agree. But yeah, his summation of the Anti-Inflation Act being a joke and whatnot, that I agree with. So on the last few things that Mr. Wonderful just said, he got it right. That's the one part in this video he got right. I can't even discuss or look at the rest of this anymore. This has just been a crazy train wreck of what is supposed to be crazy profitable crypto strategy. It just isn't. I don't recommend it. If you want to invest in a $300 million back layer one, probably not a good idea, but that's what Mr. Wonderful got into. So, hey, it's your call. But I think that it's really important to, when you look at these things, once again, and I've talked about this when it comes to listening to people in this space who are influencers like this, Think about where they come from. What is their angle? Why are they saying what they're saying? Because if you listen to that, then you're more likely to be able to decipher the info that he's giving. I think that this video was basically for his investors to hopefully give them some kind of semblance of why and how of what's going on. It was not good. Not good. I mean, this is a bad news video, and it is definitely not a crazy profitable crypto strategy. Do not buy into the large market caps expecting crazy profitability. Just not going to happen. It's just not. So, anyhow, if you agree, be sure to let us know in the comments. If you disagree, let us know in the comments either way. Love to be able to hear some debate. Like and subscribe as always, and follow us for the next one so that we can get into it. And I'll see you in the next one.